Hello, welcome back to my channel. Obviously, this video is something completely different than what I've ever filmed before on my channel, but I am so excited. It still doesn't feel like 100% real yet, and I don't know if it'll feel real yet until the baby's here. But I am pregnant, and I just kind of wanted to update you on the last few months because I'm actually halfway through my pregnancy already right now. And I just wanted to share a little bit about what's been going on, how I've been feeling. I feel like there's so much that I haven't been able to share just because of that fact. Yeah, so I'm pregnant. It still is so crazy to say, and especially saying it in a YouTube video right now. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I've thought about this for years. Like, oh my gosh, will I make like a pregnancy announcement video when the time comes, and I just can't believe that it's already here right now, which is crazy. So basically, I just wanted to give you an update on the last few months. Because, again, a lot that I haven't been able to share. And so I found out, so I officially found out back in mid-January that I was pregnant, but the day before that day, so basically I was tracking, doing all the tracking of ovulation and tracking of my period and all that kind of stuff. By the way, I'm not going to get too TMI in this video, but I mean, you know how pregnancy works, all that kind of stuff. So I was tracking all that, and it was the day before I was supposed to start my period, and I really didn't feel any symptoms at all whatsoever. I didn't feel like I was pregnant. I didn't feel anything different. It just felt like I was going to be starting, soon. So I would have bet money that I wasn't. Like nothing felt different at all whatsoever. So it was the day before I was supposed to start my period, and I was getting ready in the bathroom. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to take a test. I'm getting ready. I'm like doing my hair. I had the test on the counter. I didn't even like have it flipped over or anything. And I had a few, negatives before that. So I'm like, this is not gonna, have anything different. So I had the timer going. I'm just, doing my hair and all that kind of stuff. And I look down at it and I'm like, wait a second. I see something a little bit different than what I typically don't see on, a negative test. And these were one of the tests that are like, they're like the Pregmate ones or something. So it's like just one of those strip, they call them like the cheapy ones or whatever. They're just like the strip ones. And so I didn't get any footage of that. I kind of wish I did, but I really was not expecting anything to show up at all. So I remember just like that feeling, that like wash over you. And then I like picked it up and I just was like in the mirror for like a minute, and I was just staring at it because I saw something. And Chris was out in the living room, and I'm like, do I say something? Do I not say something? Do I tell him? Do I bring him in here? Do I have him look? And I just couldn't help myself. So I'm like, Chris, come in here. And so he comes in and I'm like, do you see a line? And I feel like for guys, it's a little bit harder because, for me, I'm like, okay, I know that any line at all whatsoever can mean, it's a positive. So he was just like, yeah, I think I do. But he was like, I don't want you to get your hopes up kind of thing. So we just basically went back to work. I had to like put it in the back of my mind and be like, I'll test tomorrow. It's fine. So I went back to work. I tried not to think about it. Yeah, sure. So it was the next morning, and I ended up being able to take one of those tests that was like the crisscross ones. And it was like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, okay, this is good enough. So I got up, took the test, and that one I didn't flip over either. So I just was like, looking at it, and I mean, so I think it's like within 3 minutes, it like pops up or something if you're pregnant or not. And it was like a little over a minute, and I saw the line and I was like, oh, I'm very pregnant. And it was just like, no freaking way. And then I ran to the store and I got one of the digital ones that say pregnant or not, because I'm like, he's gonna need to see the word. So I went there, I got the digital, I took that, and then that's when it like felt real. Like that's when it like really hit me, because I had already gotten the very, very, very faint positive the day before. I had gotten the really positive on the plus test, but seeing the word pregnant, it did something different in me, to where it was almost like that was like the first time it was like, holy crap, like I'm pregnant. But it was just like, what? Like, and it's funny because I thought that I was going to have such a different reaction. I'd watched all these people have like their pregnancy, like find out they were pregnant and like bursting into tears. And like, I thought that I was going to be really, really emotional. But it was more of like this like disbelief kind of feeling of like shocked, and like I'm just giggling, but like I feel like I want to cry, but like I'm not crying and I'm just giggling. And it was just like this weird giddy kind of feeling. And I'm like, gosh, Chris has got to get up. So I went back to bed, and I guess he was kind of like waking up a little bit. So it was, I think, close to 6:30 at that point. And, Chris is not somebody who wants like this huge, he's not a big like reactor, or like, he's like pretty much the opposite of over the top. Like he's very calm, very even keel. So I knew that when I told him that I was pregnant, that it wasn't going to be something that was like this huge extravagant thing. And plus I had already kind of given him a heads up the day before. So as soon as he started waking up in the morning, we were talking a little bit, and he asked me and said, did you take another pregnancy test? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I'm pregnant. And he just got a big smile on his face, and he's like, wow, really? And then we ended up talking for like 4 hours or something like that, and just, being like, oh my gosh, like this is real kind of thing. And then I just had it in my head from that moment. I was like, I really want to share this on social media on Mother's Day, which is, obviously right around the time that this video is going to be going up, which just so happened to be about halfway through my pregnancy. Yeah, so that was kind of the moment of finding out. And this baby is so wanted. We are so excited. Yes, we are sacrificing, a little bit with our living situation. That's another reason why we brought honestly, this was the biggest reason. I couldn't even tell you guys, but this was the biggest reason why we moved everything into the bedroom. And we're living outside there just so we can have everything closed in here. Baby's never going to come in here. It's just basically going to be like a little studio apartment. And we're going to make it work because we are near family. And yes, California is extremely expensive, but it is what it is. We can't pause our lives just because of everything else going on with how expensive things are. So we are very, very, very excited. And basically, in terms of how I've been feeling, overall, extremely grateful for how my pregnancy has gone so far. I would say that overall, I have felt pretty good the majority of the time. First trimester was rough. Lots of all-day sickness, morning sickness, feeling super tired, and just not, just like, I explained it to everybody as just like, like you just feel, no desire for any kind of food. Everything sounded disgusting. There was a good 2 weeks there that I really didn't hardly step in the kitchen at all. Chris did all the grocery shopping, all the dishes, any kind of cooking I needed, anything with Brody of, anything dealing with him. He did it all. I mean, he is just amazing. And his help was extremely, extremely needed during that time, especially on the days when all I wanted to do, or all I could do, was just lay down in bed and just be like, oh my gosh, like, you just feel this like, oh, like all the energy is just drained out of you. But overall, I would say that I am super lucky, multiple reasons. Being able to have this baby, carry this baby is such like just undescribable. Like, it's something that I've always wanted for so long in my whole life. Like, I always thought about this time in my life. And it's so crazy that it's actually here. Like, it's actually real right now. Even though it's still like, it feels real, but it doesn't feel like 100% real yet. Like, it's like, we're really just in for a whirlwind, aren't we? And we have no idea. But so as soon as I got over the first trimester, I did start feeling a little bit better entering the second trimester, but then weeks between like 14 and 16 were still a little weird. There were still some mornings where I would just get this wash of nausea, like this, like, whoop, like you just feel it. And I'd have to like really just, eat and not think about it and try my best. But as soon as I got that, I mean, knock on wood or this table or whatever, but I have been doing a lot better, feeling really good. I was able to kind of get back into working out at the beginning of the second trimester. And now I'm, pretty much back to being active every day, almost every day, feeling really good. And, getting back to regular, having my focus be on work and what I need to be doing, because something I was not prepared for with the first trimester was the extreme lack of motivation. Like, I didn't care about anything. It was the weirdest thing, because I'm definitely not somebody, I'm the opposite of that. I care about everything. So the fact that I just didn't care about anything, I didn't want to do anything, I had to force myself to work. And oh my gosh, making YouTube videos, you guys, it was a challenge. It was definitely challenging. So any videos that I put up in February through March, so February and March, those were probably the times that it was the most difficult for me. But I will say, I mean, I am super grateful for what I do for a living, and anytime I needed to rest or take a nap, I was able to. And I know that so many women do not have that privilege to be able to do that. So I am not complaining at all if I had to force myself to make some YouTube videos. Big deal kind of thing. So, but now that I'm about halfway through my pregnancy, it's just kind of like, oh my gosh, like, just feeling like, oh, like I'm actually showing now. And it's like, just having these different things that I need to be mindful of, how I sit. My back is starting to, feel a little bit, I don't know the word. My back is hurting a little bit more. I have a pillow that I sleep with that's just, like a pregnancy pillow at night. And just something that, just helps me be able to sleep a little bit better. I swear, in the first trimester, I would fall asleep at like 7 p.m. And then I would sleep all night. Sometimes throughout the night, I would wake up, and it would be a little bit hard for me to go back to sleep. Recently, I felt, like the leg cramps and all that kind of stuff. I do drink my electrolyte drink that my dietitian had recommended for me to start taking back last summer when I was going through all those weird medical things, which, by the way, I think it's very weird. And I don't know if this is just something that I am thinking like, maybe like life was trying to prepare me for pregnancy and being like, can you handle like, these kind of symptoms? I don't know. But I put up a video talking about my health last summer or maybe it was towards fall. I can't remember. But I was just going through a whirlwind of so many different things. And I was feeling at that time the worst I had ever felt in my entire life. And to be honest, I feel like that was almost worse than what I've experienced so far in pregnancy. The fatigue was worse because the fatigue that I was feeling was also accompanied with a feeling of passing out. So it would be like 3 to 4 times a day. It would be like, oh no, I'm going to pass out, but I never did. And luckily I don't have that during pregnancy. I still have felt, pretty intense fatigue, but I don't think that it was as bad as when I was going through whatever I was going through. Plus I had like the numbness tingling in my hands. I had the hives all over the place, like pretty much every single day. So I don't know if that was like, this weird preparation. That's just kind of how I think about it in my head. I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into it. But it was kind of like, okay, if I can go through all that and go to so many doctor's appointments, try to get everything figured out, get all this blood work done, feel like crap, and then, I was able to meet with a dietitian, get my health way back. I mean, it was like probably the best it ever was before I got pregnant. So there's like these little things that happened, and I'm like, I feel like it was just supposed to happen in that way. I feel like I was supposed to go through all that health stuff and then be able to get kind of back in really good health. And then, I got pregnant, and I overall have been feeling really, really good. And again, it's, I can't believe I make a video about this. It's fun to just talk about this. And again, I'm not going to be making like a ton of videos on this topic, so I'm really just trying to get it all out in this video. I'll probably make a couple more. But also, I feel like I haven't even said the gender of the baby yet. We're having a baby boy. So we're going to have a son. Finding out the gender was the most surreal, and that was more surreal than finding out that I was pregnant. I don't know why. It was like, going back and forth. Oh my God, are we going to have a daughter? Are we going to have a son? This is crazy. Like, and Chris and I, again, very mellow people. We don't like do like these big extravagant things or anything. So we found out at the doctor's office, our doctor told us, and we were not expecting to find out that day. It was like a 12-week visit or whatever. And the doctor was looking, and she was like, do you know the gender? And we're like, no. She's like, do you want to know? And I looked at Chris, and we're like, yes. And then she told us, she was like, you're having a boy. And I guess like I was so just in this wash of like, what? And Chris said that I screamed and like threw my hands up and like kind of like fell back a little bit. And then Chris came over and hugged me. And I was like, oh my God, we're having a boy. Like, it was just crazy. And then I made these little cupcakes with like blue frosting filling or whatever for my family to tell them. We just went over and kind of surprised them with that. And it's just been really fun so far. My parents are so excited. Chris's parents are so excited. And it's just a good time. It is not without lots of emotions and lots of just different, ups and downs so far in terms of emotions. But overall, very excited, very happy. And I just really wanted to make a video sharing this with you. And yeah, so I will most likely be sharing a lot more on my Instagram. So if you're not following me over there, definitely follow me over there. It's just at Memory Box Candle Co. And I'm, I already share a little bit more personal stuff on that Instagram anyways. But I do have to say this is, as much as I do like to share a little bit into my life, with my son, it's so crazy to say, when it comes to my son, like, I definitely don't want to be putting him on social media, be putting him on YouTube. To be honest, guys, I don't even know if I want to say his name. Like, I don't want to put him at risk at all of anything. There's already been some weird things that have happened in regards to me with people contacting and finding out where I live. And it's just already something that I don't want to have anything out there about him or anything like that. So I did want to put that out there right now, just so you know. Hope you can respect that. But with being somebody who is online, I think I just have a responsibility to, you know, just protect him and not be, you know, putting him out there like crazy. I may have, you know, some photos of some kind with me and him in some way, but I don't plan on, you know, having him all over social media or anything. But of course, you will find out when he is born. I will definitely share that. I don't know if I'll be able to share it the day of or whatever it is, but come fall. Oh, by the way, I'm doing the fall. So I don't want to say the exact date, but sometime in September, October, there will be a baby Morris. There will be a baby boy. I can't even believe it. I have felt him kick a little bit. Well, actually a lot of it, I would say. Some days he's so active. Over the past couple of days, he's been so active. He was actually active. He kicked me in the middle of me filming a video actually a few days ago. And I like stopped. I was like, oh, hi. So I remember that it took me a little bit longer than I should have to actually get started with my, I can feel him. Ah. Hi, honey. You learning about email marketing? Because it's just, I don't know, it's just amazing. Feeling him, it's just the most incredible feeling in the whole world. I could talk about this all day. So if you have made it this far in the video, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for following not only my business journey, but any kind of personal journey. You know, when Chris and I got married, I shared about that. And now that I'm pregnant, it just feels so amazing to be able to share it with a community of people who are really here just to learn about, you know, business and all that kind of stuff. But for those of you that are interested also in a little bit more of the personal side too, I really just appreciate you so much. Again, go follow me on Instagram if you want, you know, a little bit more updates here and there about baby. But so far everything is really good. And yeah, so I will see you in my next video. Oh, also, I'll actually end the video just with a little bump shot. It's kind of hard to see with the black chair in the background, but just little baby bump going on.